By the way, Joy, do you need some new luggage?
I would love new luggage.
Would you really? Okay, let's get Joy, because I have awaytravel.com/Colin, $20 off when you enter the promo code Colin at checkout. This away luggage, the aluminum kind.
Yeah, you wanted to go and show it off to TMZ at the airport.
And you travel more than I do now.
That's true.
You travel more than I do. So let's get that. John, let's get after that. Remind me. Let's get her some of that away luggage.
I'm going to remind you to get me some luggage.
Yeah.
Well, John, you don't travel much. This is a world global traveler. So I want to say this. There's a story out from somebody. I trust Ramona Shelburne. I know her. I trust her. If she says something, she knows what she's doing. So I'm going to put this up. She said she had a quote about Kawhi Leonard, and I think we all know that it's he's leaning to coming back to California. She said, listen, I just think the guy has made it pretty clear. He wants to come back home to California. He has a house there. He always wanted the entire time. He wanted that before anything went south with the Spurs. It's pretty consistent desire. It's not like Paul George, where Paul George, he's from Palmdale, but he likes fishing and that kind of lifestyle. That's very Oklahoma. Here's the thing and I keep going back to when you do make a big move. I've done this 3 or 4 times in my life. Joy has done this. People think miles out when you make these moves, but it comes down to a day, a car ride, an epiphany, a conversation. Here's something to consider with Kawhi Leonard. His field goal percentage has gone down significantly in every series. He shot 55% against the Magic, 53 against the Sixers, 44 against the Bucks, 38 against the Warriors, and that's a beat-up Warriors with, until last night, no size. Dude is shot. He's a shot fighter. He is incredibly tired. Last night he had 34 points and 14 rebounds, and I don't remember much. He was a minus 14, plus minus. I don't remember a lot of the shots. He's just playing minutes. He's getting points, but he's not elevating. He's not the same level. He's finding spots to rest, and I don't blame him. And here's the thing about Kawhi Leonard as he makes this decision. The best-case scenario for Toronto is they're stuck with this roster for a year because Kyle Lowry's contract and Serge Ibaka's contract have 1 year left. Well, they're not going to get rid of them at the trading deadline, even though they could, because they'll be, if Kawhi stayed, in a playoff run. You're not going to get rid of those 2 veterans. You've got to keep those guys. If you're in the middle, you're a 3rd seed, which they would be, a 2nd or a 3rd or a 1st seed in the East. So you can't bail on those contracts at the trading deadline, though you could, because they're expiring contracts and teams would line up for them. Everybody's looking for expiring contracts, but they can't. Then at the end of next year, those contracts for Lowry and Ibaka, they're up, and you got big money for free agency. But is Kawhi Leonard sitting there in this series thinking, my knee hurts, I'm tired, the old guys are just going to be a year older, Pascal Siakam, he'll keep growing, but he's a wildly inconsistent player? Of course he is. He's a kid. He's a kid. And so, like, 2 or 3 things we know about Kawhi Leonard. 1, his knee is not healthy. And 2, he's being doubled and tripled by the Warriors. And even though he had good numbers last night, he looks tired. He looks, and the numbers don't lie. Kawhi Leonard's field goal percentage has gone down in 4 straight series. And so I think next year, Toronto's got to sell him on old guys past his prime and a really talented long number 2 that's inconsistent, and next year will be better, but still inconsistent. Now, the Clippers are a lot of the same thing, but the difference is L.A. is more attractive to most free agents, and they have the money now for a second guy beyond Kawhi. The Clippers right now are the Raptors, a bunch of role players, solid guys, 1 really good young player, a lot of role guys, a lot of smart, cagey veterans. Good chemistry in the locker room, well coached, well run. But the difference is he can make a move in 2 weeks, go to the Clippers, and they have more money to offer another guy now. Because next year, Toronto, they don't have a first-round draft pick, I don't think, and they don't have any cap space, so they're not going to land a free agent, and you got to sell them on this. And what this is 4 straight series, field goal percentage dropping, knee isn't healthy, and he looks... in every series, he is getting doubled, and last night at times tripled. I think that's a hard sell for Toronto. Here's Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So every team has a scheme,
Yes.
Golden State's mantra for the past 5 seasons has been strength in numbers.
Yes.
And last night that proved to be more than a marketing slogan because health and injuries are testing the Warriors' depth, which was a big question for them this season, and they're making everybody look silly for questioning that. Their Game 2 ailments. Let's see. Kevin Durant, obviously out. Stephen Curry, dehydration. Klay Thompson, hamstring. Andre Iguodala, leg injury. DeMarcus Cousins, leg injury. And Kevin Looney with a chest injury. Well, DeMarcus played 28 points, as we know, and Quinn Cook tied a playoff career high with 3 threes.
Yeah, Quinn Cook was big last night.
Yes.
Big.
And all 13 Warriors got into the game. Now, Klay had a pretty scary injury on an aggressive flopping move.
Yeah.
He said he'll be all right for Game 3, but he was clearly... he didn't come back in the game.
They have an MRI today. Did they do an MRI last night or today? I think they're doing an MRI. It's today. So we'll find out by the end of the day if he plays.
He said he'll be back, but, obviously we're going to see what the MRI says. Draymond Green had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Huge game for Boogie, as we know, and Iggy hit the big shot at the end of the game there. I'm with you. That was all Kawhi yesterday. For as amazing as everyone was in Game 1, you gotta you don't have to be that amazing, but you have to give him some help. And unfortunately, after the Warriors went on that ridiculous third quarter run, which they're known to do, they got so many stops in the fourth quarter. Like, make some shots. It wasn't really that far away of a game, despite that run. You have to make the shots. They were stopping the Warriors every single time in the fourth quarter. Their defense wasn't great for most of the game yesterday, but they had an opportunity to get back in the game, and they just
I kind of sat there. I got to be honest with you. Golden State's obviously great. I was kind of in awe of them last night. I sat there and I was like, man, this system, it had a Patriots feel. You're like, Gronk's out, Edelman's hurt, and you're like, they got Chris Hogan making catches in the AFC Championship, Danny Amendola. I was blown away by Golden State last night.
It's a very next man up mentality, and it worked for them last night. So the Clippers got fined $50,000 for tampering on Friday because Doc Rivers compared Kawhi to Michael Jordan.
He was asked about him, actually. Can he not talk about him?
Well, apparently not. His comments seemed pretty tame, especially since he said them while working as a TV analyst, and he was asked about Kawhi. Said. But according to Josh Lewenberg of TSN, the Raptors have reached out to the league multiple times this season when they felt the Clippers have crossed the line in their not-so-subtle pursuit of Leonard, I'm told. Would imagine today's $50,000 anti-tampering fine had as much to do with those incidents as Doc's comments, and Adam Silver explained the reasoning for the fine. He said, I understand the competing interest of the media hearing a coach's view about a current NBA player, but it's something that there's a bright line in this league and you're not allowed to do it. Coaches or teams, executives in those positions need to say, I'm not permitted by the league to respond to that question. It's a balance of interest. I understand that, but unfortunately he crossed a bright line.
You know what I feel like this is? This is a PR move. Everybody knows there's tampering. Everybody has everybody's number. You are Earl. Your guy has everybody's number.
Yes.
Everybody's got everybody's number in the NBA. I'll bring guests on. They're like, yeah, I got Katie's number right here. There's tampering 24/7. It's called texting and DM and talking on phone calls for hours. But this makes it look like to the public, me, the masses, there is no tampering. Well, you are going to get married to a former NBA player and a coach. How many phone numbers does he have from NBA stars on his phone? All of them?
Yeah, most of them.
This is
the ones he doesn't have, he can easily get.
In 1 second. Ty Lue's calling me at my house. He's mad at me. This is one of these PR moves that satiates the public, but it's like, can we stop with the tampering stuff? It's ridiculous.
But does it even satiate the public? I feel like it's just petty wars with executives because everyone in the public knows that. We all have each other's phone numbers. It's the information age. It's not that hard to get a hold of somebody. So this idea that there's not any tampering going on, but also it's very anti-NBA culture to be like, oh, it's just a stern, bright. There's no bright line. He's working as an analyst. If that's the case, say they can't be analysts. Because really, he could, if he's talking about any player, he's technically tampering, is he not? So he should just not be allowed to work as an analyst.
Yeah.
It's petty wars with the executives. Yeah. I get it, but it doesn't mean anything. And Kawhi, if anything, it just made it worse because then Kawhi got asked about it and he felt bad that Doc Rivers got fined. So they really just made it worse.
Yeah.
It's just silly. Finally, big weekend. So Andy Ruiz Jr.
Unbelievable.
Shocked the world Saturday when he knocked out the heavily favored Anthony Joshua in the 7th round on his own. Ruiz now has the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles, and Deontay Wilder is the WBC champ. So that's great news because all the belts are in the PBC family. And this fight was also great news for Ruiz, who professed his love for Snickers on our Inside PBC Boxing in late April.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I got my thing right here on the road. I always take it. Gets me through the day, so.
Do you always carry one in you?
I do always carry one, you know.
Production didn't give you that?
No. Actually, my dad would always give me these when I was a little kid.
Very nice.
Maybe that's why I'm a little chubby, too.
Yeah. First of all, what a great story. Joey, he got injected into this fight as the third option. He shouldn't even have been in the ring, and he crushed Joshua.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. Anybody can slip up and get a bad hit, and the fight's over. We know that. But he crushed him.
He dominated the champ.
And don't let everyone's obviously talking about the Snickers and like his body and all that. Don't let that fool you. Guys that are built like that are athletes, are incredibly strong. Incredibly strong.
Charles Barkley didn't have a perfect body. He's maybe as good as anybody I've ever seen in NBA history. He could score low, he could shoot jumpers and score in transition. Don't get caught up in body image.
No.
This guy is first of all, Joshua's the champ, right? And this new guy gets inserted into the fight. The last thing you want to do is get into a street brawl. Like, you stay away, you score your points, you get home.
And keep it moving.
And he got into a bar fight with him. So what are you doing?
It was incredible. He shocked the world, and good for him. And I like Snickers too, by the way.
So who doesn't?
It's basically like a meal.
Freeze them, then cut them up out of the freezer.
Have you ever had Snickers ice cream?
Oh, I've had it all.
Unbelievable.
I'd be shaped like that if I did that too much. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.